All right, something different tonight. I'm going to be reacting to this white collar versus blue collar video. It's a middle ground video by Jubilee on YouTube. We're going to figure out if we got some good blue collar representation up in this bitch, or if they should have called me. As a matter of fact, they should have called me anyway. I'd have been in their little video, and we'd have got right to the middle ground, big dog. So let's see what they got to say.
People underestimate the...
All right, first off, before we even get started, I just want to point out that I could take and move the blue collar guys over to the white collar side and vice versa, and I would not know the difference. Don't nobody look blue collar over there. Not even the dude in the fucking corny ass overalls. We already got off to a bad start.
Can the Greers please step forward?
Hell, I underestimate the challenges of my own damn job.
I just feel like sometimes, like, when I actually know something and I know what I'm doing.
First of all, she cannot be real blue collar. These are got to be actors. She just said when she knows something and she knows what she's doing. None of us actually know what the fuck we're doing, dude. I have never been on a job and known what the hell is going on. And if you say you have, or you lying.
The guys around me are the people, like, not my foreman, not my superintendent, project manager, not those people that are in charge. But like the fellas around me, they'll probably think that I can't do something. Hi, my name is Chantel. I'm 31 years old. I'm an electrical apprentice, and I'm
an electrical apprentice, huh? Oh man. This got to be proof that the electrician job, the electrician trade has got to be the easiest blue-collar trade out of all of them. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with women in blue-collar trades, women in blue-collar fields. Congratulations. Proud of you. All right, you guys can do it, okay? Yes. But is it a coincidence that one of the women on this panel here just happens to be an electrician? I don't think so.
a blue-collar worker.
And I get the, you're a plumber? You do that? And
that's cute. That's real fucking cute right there. Making a joke of our trades, dude. What the fuck? What the fuck? That's a middle school teacher, dude. I don't care what she says. That is a middle school teacher. Maybe her husband was a plumber, and he let her in on the business, right? And he either passed away, rest in peace, or they divorced, and she took half the business or the whole business, and now she runs a plumbing business or some shit like that. Oh, man.
I reply, and you can do it too. Let me show you how. Hello, my name's Connie. I'm a plumber. I'm 63 years old, and I'm happily a blue-collar worker.
Congratulations.
In my case,
congratulations.
People envy me all the flexibility I have that's work-related since I'm teaching college, and I technically don't teach that many hours a week, but it's very meticulous. I have to keep track of students that have plans for students with disabilities.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Abram Antler. I'm 51 years old. I'm a professor of English and English as a second.
All right. English, I speak it well, brother. Who goes to college? Now I understand if it's foreign students coming over here to learn and they want to know English and they need to know English, they go in there and they learn English. But why the fuck would you go to college if you know how to speak English and go in there and take some kind of English class? I speak English. I'm speaking it right now, dude. I speak it very well. I use all the big, huge English words. Very impressive.
Language ESL in community college, and I am white collar. I'm doing more classes that involve a lot more preparation than before. And so I spend...
Oh, he has to prepare.
I could spend up to 20 to 30 hours a week just preparing for classes even before I go to the classroom.
Oh,
I think that as a criminal defense attorney, a lot of times people think, like, especially with AI, for example, that I use a lot of forms, that I don't have to really do the work. Hi, I'm Mario. I'm 35 years old, and I'm an attorney, and
I thought that was, I'm going to be honest, I thought that was Elliot Page. I did. I thought that was Elliot. Is it No, the name's different now, right? It's not Elliot anymore. No, it was Elliot. Now it's something else. Anyway.
White collar. But a lot of what I do is client management. You know, a lot of it is people are scared of those moments in their lives where maybe they're trying to figure out, like, I made a mistake. Like, what's going to be the punishment for that? And I'm at times like a psychiatrist, you know, a counselor.
Imagine you just like murdered somebody. You just caught a double murder or some shit. And then this little motherfucker walks in and he's about to defend you. And he's like, hi, I'm your new attorney.
Is what we call it. But other times I'm also an attorney. I have to go into court and advocate for that client. And at the end of the day,
my name's Mario and I'm your attorney.
They get to make the decisions. It's not my choice always. And it takes a lot out of me because your job, like, nobody's ever happy to see me. I am there for you when you are at your lowest, typically. And people at their lowest, they can be drinking, they can be lashing out, and I have to figure out how to manage that.
What the fuck does that mean? People at their lowest could be drinking, smoking. What is that? What is he trying to say by that? I'm not at my lowest. I'm at the highest I've ever fucking been, big dog. The fuck are you talking about? Are white-collar people this out of touch? They don't know what's going on in the real world?
And package it and present it to a court and do that person justice. But, you know, to your point, I'm a person of color, you know, and I'm queer.
Who gives a shit? If you're a person of color, he don't even look like a person of color. Who gives a fuck? And he said he's queer, too. Just had to, I just got to throw that in there. It's kind of like a blue-collar worker. They're, you know, you don't have to ask them if they're a blue-collar worker. Eventually, they're going to tell you.
And I don't look like what a lawyer looks like. And
what
so
the fuck's a lawyer look like?
People think I'm an intern, and it's really, you know, tough to navigate that kind of career and situation where you look around and no one looks like you, and you just have to.
Is this going to be more of an identity politics type of video than actually work versus work, right? Because I'm thinking I was going to come in here and we're going to be like, oh, man, I'm fucking busting my ass all day, dude, in the ball crushing factory, man. Stuck my fucking cock in the goddamn turner, just twisted my dick off. And then the white collars are going to come in there and be like, yeah, boss, let's type into my keyboard all day. I had to add up all these numbers, and the boss said I couldn't use AI, and the fucking brain was crazy, dude. And my kids are at home. They don't know me. Instead, we're in here like, oh, well, you know, I'm queer and gay, and I'm an electrician.
Constantly prove yourself, it feels like.
Disagreeers, please step forward.
I want to hear what the overalls dude has to say. He's the only one that looks kind of like he might be blue collar.
Ours didn't come up because, like, people know farming's hard. I feel like people hold.
We don't need farmers anymore. I cannot believe the dude's a farmer. Like, I was hoping he was something like an iron worker or some construction worker or something. A farmer? Dude, we have Dollar Generals around every corner. Why the fuck do we need farms anymore? If I want some food, I'll get in my truck. I'll open up a few road sodas on the way, and I'll just go to Dollar General and get me some fucking food, dude. A farmer? But I will say one thing, y'all. His hair, I like it. It's what I'm going for. All right, no homo pause, whatever.
That up as an example.
Move on from that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's underestimated. It is hard. I mean, I'm Jakob. I'm 33. I'm a farmer.
He's
I'm
Jakob.
blue collar. It's a lot of husbandry. It's a lot of like being really in tune with what's happening with your animals and with the land and.
Not one fucking Monster Energy, not one fucking Red Bull, not one cigarette ripped out of a pack and fucking just. I mean, I'd be blowing, I don't even smoke, dude. And just for this interview, just because they all piss me off, their faces fucking piss me off. None of these motherfuckers are blue collar. Just because of this shit, I'd blow smoke all in their fucking faces. All right? Every other word, I'd be cussing, throwing out insults and shit. I'd be looking at old girl in the blue collar shirt, not the white one, the black one. I'd be like, hey, motherfuckers, my coworker's been hitting the face with balls harder than you can swing a hammer. Bitch.
You're kind of an all-around problem solver. You're doing some mechanic work. You're doing, irrigation pipe work. You're doing, you're a chemist with the soil and understanding the microbiome there. But yeah,
I don't know. Why don't you just plant the food, put some water on it?
A plot that is completely sustainably farmed, no-till. I don't put tires in the field. I don't spray anything.
Motherfucker, hell no. That's too much damn work, dude. I'm putting tractors to fields, baby. All right? All right, if the plants are ass and tractors belt, I'm putting belt to ass, baby. I'm not going out there walking around in the hot ass fucking sun all day. Got me fucked up.
You don't need to spray anything.
Yeah, most of the time, if you have a pest population, it's because something's out of balance, right? So I have a lot of different species, in the field. I have, natural fertilizers. I'm using, fish emulsion through the drip irrigation. I'm really efficient with the water because I'm kind of limited on the water that I can use.
I honestly don't care, okay? Let's move on to the next section of this shit. Like, what the fuck are we talking about right now, dude?
You are privileged if your work isn't affected by extreme weather.
Now that, yes, I agree with that. 100%. You are privileged if your work is not affected by extreme weather. What does that do? We got to find out what the dude in the back does.
Big California drought recently. Well, the most, in recent memory in like 2012.
Oh, he's a California. He's a California farmer.
There was a January where I think it felt just like May. Like I think it rained twice that winter in like 2013, something like that. And so most of my farming career, I've been on a well. I haven't had irrigation water, and so the groundwater just isn't replenishing. It influenced what kind of things I could grow. I had to pivot away from my beloved melons towards peppers and eggplants and things like that.
Useless ass shit.
You're working inside.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
How about you just farm some cattle? All right, I would much rather see you with 1,000 head of cattle, because I like some steak. I love steak, dude. If I ever get bit by one of them ticks that give you the reaction to red meat, you know what I'm talking about? And I can't eat red meat. I don't know if I can go on, y'all. I don't know.
Do you feel the impact of an extreme weather condition?
I can say a little. The place I work almost burned down twice in the time that I've been teaching.
Medicine.
Yes.
What?
And then my route to work, it was 30 minutes, and I chose to move there partially because it would drastically cut down my drive.
Oh my God! Imagine having to drive 30 minutes to your job, dude. Fuck.
Time.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, must
and then
be
I
so
couldn't take
hard,
that route for a
dude.
year. So then I had to drive like an hour and a half to work for a year.
Whoa!
My name is Ray. I'm 26. I teach sports medicine, and I'm white collar.
I was thinking about my own situation.
What is sports
more
medicine?
And more of it's just online. I'm teaching online a lot more. Every semester, on average, I have at least one online class. So I wouldn't be impacted at all, but at the same time, I'm thinking probably the most extreme profession that deals with the environment right now and the influence and the problems of climate change are first responders.
Yeah.
They have to stay. They can't go
Hell
anywhere. Yeah. Firefighters.
By first responders, he means linemen, dude. All right, linemen. They are linemen are more. They deserve more respect than the EMTs, firefighters. Linemen deserve more respect than probably the Marines, Army Rangers, okay? You put a Navy SEAL up against a lineman, all right, respect to the lineman. We could do away with Navy SEALs, put the linemen in their spot, let them handle all operations from then on.
Them died of heat exhaustion. As awful as it is, they had no choice. That was what they did for a living.
And plumbers who had all of those clients were all impacted because they lost all of their clients
business
right away.
Oh.
I think it's an absolute privilege.
Where do they find these people, dude? These are actors. I'm not going to spend... Okay, so I don't want to disappoint y'all, but I am not going to spend very much time on this video. We're going to go to the high points of the video and see what they're saying, and
There are changes.
I'll tell you my
I've heard
thoughts.
that denial for people that don't think that the climate change is getting worse. Meanwhile, Florida now is over 100 degrees in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
Too hot to swim in.
It's hard when you hear
too hot to swim in. The fuck are you talking about?
I think it
I was just in Florida swimming all up in that motherfucker.
It's kind of the general situation that we're in, where what can you trust? What what news can you trust? What information is right? How do you even verify it anymore? I understand people struggling.
So
with
this
it,
is what I figured. This is what I figured. We're not discussing whose work is harder, whose job is harder, the impacts of certain industries, the toll these jobs take on your body, white collar versus blue collar. We're not talking about money, what kind of money it brings in. We're here to discuss politics. We're here to discuss geopolitics and identity politics and all the other politics. Let's see what this motherfucker does.
I can't wait to hear why you disagree with this.
It's not that complex. I mean, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, but simply put, like, at least for me, and again, it's how we perceive it, like, the only time I've had a bad day is because I put myself there, right? So in my mind, and here's my asterisk with this.
He's right. You can't have a bad day if you don't go to work. No, wait, I meant to say it like this. Take that back. You cannot have a bad day at work if you don't go to that motherfucker.
In my mind, if you wanted to be like blue collar and be out and like, if you wanted to be a farmer, it's like, you're gonna have some bad days. And like, I think that's just part of the game, part of the job. I think it's just something you expect. So at least that's where I'm at. It's not all too complex. Hi, my name is Robert. I'm 28 years old. I'm a general contractor, and I'm a blue-collar worker.
General
do you
contractor.
Disagree by definition that it's a privilege to not have to worry about about weather events?
I wouldn't say it's a privilege again with like the thing.
Yeah, it is a privilege.
If it's what you wanted to do.
Well, hold on now. So. Some people ain't doing what they want to do. It's not like he talks about it like it's just you go out and you do whatever the fuck you want to do, when that's not the case. A lot of people just take whatever job they can get because that's just the way it is a lot of the times. Now, you can continue to look for different jobs, and most of the time you can get the job you want, but a lot of the time you're just taking what you can get, and that's what most people are fucking doing. And it's a privilege if you ain't got to worry about the weather because you were lucky enough to get a job where you ain't got to worry about the weather. Now, can you set yourself up to have a better chance to get a job where you don't have to worry about the weather? Yes, all right. If you don't act a fool throughout your teenage years, which, face it, most of us do, because your shit ain't developed when you're a teenager. You make dumb, stupid-ass decisions, the majority of us do. So we're not going to, be thinking about the future and this and that. Now, some people do. All right, ooh, good on you. Smart motherfucker, okay? But a lot of us didn't. We were too busy doing stupid, dumb shit because we were just stupid, dumb teenagers, and we didn't set ourselves up to be in a position where we don't have to worry about the weather. Unfortunately, the majority of us have to worry about the weather.
I don't think privilege
comes with it.
Yeah, because it's like in my mind, it's like you know what you signed up for, and it's just like.
Well, we didn't sign up for fires.
Fair enough.
I feel like from the farming perspective,
the electrician says we didn't sign up for fires. It's electricity. It's electricity.
It's even more unique, perhaps, because places in Mexico, for instance, they completely ran out of water, and you can't farm without water.
Right.
Plain and simple. And so I think
just go to the ocean and get some more water. What the fuck are you talking about? Let's move to the next section because that's boring. I'm sure there's a better video out there somewhere.
White-collar jobs provide a more stable family life than others.
Now this one, I don't know. I would figure, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say absolutely. As mentioned earlier, I come from a white-collar background, and I was home every day by 5:30.
Well, that's
my
nice.
wife and I don't have kids, but when they say I didn't like my 9 to 5, I work 24/7. I mean, that's pretty accurate. I'm gone from maybe.
Look, that's the thing. I don't know how it is in a lot of white collar industries, but in majority of blue collar industries, it's not 9 to 5. It is from 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to fucking 6, 7, 8 p.m. or later, and it's get home exhausted with enough time to eat dinner, take a shower, and go to sleep, wake up, and do it again the next day. Majority of the time, it's 6 days a week. A lot of the times, it's 7 days a week. Blue-collar people are lucky to work 5 days a week. If you are in a blue-collar industry where you're working 5 days a week, you are lucky. It's not something that happens often, from my experience anyway. Now, I don't understand why that is. I wish it would change. A lot of us just work our lives away, work too much, dude. People are just working way too much nowadays, and nothing seems to be getting better. It seems to be getting worse. It seems like we would be working toward it seems like we would all work together toward a system that would allow all of us to do less work with the same amount of production or something like that, right? But it just seems to be the opposite. Everybody's having to get the economy's not at the greatest shape right now, and everybody's having to get 2 jobs, and it's been like that since like 2020, dude. Shit is getting crazy, and blue collar workers are out there just fucking working, crazy amounts of overtime, killing their bodies, busting their backs, dude, destroying their health, working all this overtime to make money just so they can make payments on stuff that they probably don't even need. But a lot of it is just to live. Anyway.
5 to 7 in the morning until 7 to 10 at night, up to 6 days a week. And there's not a lot of time I'm at home.
Exactly what he just said.
I don't work conventional business hours. And yeah, I think the stability that comes with white collar work I think that's great. And that's one of the benefits amongst all the other benefits that come with it. But yeah, ultimately, I would agree with this point entirely.
Again, I teach at a university, and while I do work a lot, it's pretty flexible. I have a lot of stuff to work on when I'm at home, but I only go on campus 3 days a week this semester. And one of those days, I'm there for like 3 hours. And so if I really have to be somewhere, usually I can be there.
See, that's something that you're not going to get at a blue-collar job unless you're in a really high position. You can move up into high positions where you'll have something similar to that, but not really. A lot of the times, if you're in a higher position at a bigger company and all, you're really not even, excuse me, y'all, still kind of sick. If you're in a higher position at a bigger company in certain industries, you're not even really ever off the clock, like technically. Like maybe you're not getting paid unless you're on a salary, which most of the time you will be. But a lot of the times you won't be actually off the clock. And what I mean by that is mentally, you're always going to be thinking about the job. Like all the time mentally, you're going to be thinking about if you did this right, if you forgot to do this, if you forgot to tell somebody this, or whatever. You know, you have people's lives in your hands and stuff like that. So mentally, you're never away from the job. You're never off the clock. It's like, and maybe there are some white collar positions like that too, right? But I wouldn't say that they would have, a lot of the times they have people's lives in their hands in the same way blue collar does, right? And then a lot of white collar jobs, I don't know, maybe if this guy that we're looking at right now could like completely like fuck something up to the point where it's like you just costed somebody millions of dollars or something in the same way that a blue collar guy in a high position could do, right? Because if you're like doing some crazy construction, building some crazy fucking contraptions, some bullshit or whatever, and you fuck it up somehow, you just costed companies millions of dollars and this and that and the other. Shit can get very complicated, but that's just the world I know. I don't know a whole lot about the white collar world.
And when I was an undergrad, I worked as an EMT. I would work 124-hour a week, and that was intense. A lot of people really loved and favored the 148-hour shift just all the way through. But then they would do extra overtime. So I knew people that
I worked 48
like
hours straight one time on a work over rig.
Over like 5 days.
Fuck that.
So they're just putting a ton of work into it. And both my parents.
We were trying to show off, right? We was in a situation. So on a workover rig, it's not like a drilling rig where you have a night crew, a day crew, and then you have crews that take your spot every 2 weeks so you can go home every 2 weeks. On a workover rig, it's just 7 days a week till you get the job done. Sometimes you get lucky and you can be off on weekends on certain depends on what you're doing to the well, right? Because a workover rig is basically a maintenance rig. So you go in there and you do maintenance on the well. Anyway, we had come to a point where we couldn't shut down. So we had to work all night, and we didn't figure this out until the end of the day because of what happened. I can't remember exactly what happened. Something happened. We couldn't close the well in properly. So if you can't close the well in properly, well, there's a chance of the well coming in on you, right, and exploding, oil going everywhere, and shit catching on fire and burning down cities and whatever. So we ended up having to stay on the rig all night. But anyway, that's how it ended up working. It was like it was that day, that night, and the next day. So however many hours that was, it wasn't no 48 hours straight, but it was a lot of hours straight. It was way too many. I remember being like, yeah, this ain't happening no more.
Are in the trades. My dad's a mechanic, and he has worked nights almost my entire life. Yeah. And so when my mom would get home, my dad was gone for work. So they would only really see each other over the weekends.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then when I got home from school, my dad was usually gone. So I think that white collar does allow for a lot more flexibility. I think both of them are very demanding in different ways.
Sure.
But I think I have a more flexible schedule now than I did when I was in EMT.
No, 100%. And
Hell
like,
yeah.
I don't know the actual statistics or the numbers here, but I mean, seeing in my own experience, I mean, almost every guy I meet is divorced or on their second or third wife. A lot of these guys are just not home, so they're
Maybe he is blue collar. Maybe he do know a little something.
out like cheating, doing all sorts of stuff, and it's just like
Lyman.
it can be that environment really easily because at the end of the day, like as very loosely, as a man, to be a good man to your partner is not whatever it means to be a man, whatever. It's more beyond than just being the breadwinner. It doesn't matter how much money you make because it's like if you're not active in your household, you're not active in your partner's life, and you're not there, you're not there.
I could also see.
I agree with the dude.
White collar, if
He's
they
spitting.
go home and yes, they're home and they're
shit.
present,
The
but
electrician.
they're not mentally present because they're doing work all the time.
She done heard something.
I don't do research. I know a lot of my
You heard
colleagues do
something.
research.
You do realize we have fires, right? You do realize we have fires on the job. The guys around me, they think I don't know what I'm doing because I'm a woman. But we do have fires on the job. You do know that.
And so while they may teach less, they have these very demanding research projects. They're working with students. They are still grading a lot. Like maybe with blue collar, maybe you're gone a lot, and white collar, maybe you can be around a lot. But how much of the time that you're around are you actually like mentally present with these people?
Exactly.
So I can agree to disagree because I feel like, of course, like being in construction, like I was like, what, 26 years old making $55 an hour. So like financially stable, yes, I'm financially stable, but when it comes to like traveling to work, we're not always like we build something and then we're going to the next place. So it would be days like where I would be all the way in San Francisco, got to travel 3 hours to get home. So like how he was saying, people will be going and cheating on their wives and doing those type of things.
Why
I would
they
just
keep
go to the
bringing
beach, or
linemen
I would
up?
just go to places, go to a bar or something.
Oh, they just keep on bringing linemen into the conversation. There's not even one single fucking lineman here.
So it's like there's no stability. There's no like, oh, it's a 9 to 5, 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. No, it's like it's a 3 a.m. to maybe a 6 p.m. because you got to think about travel time getting to that job site. So
And you're not paid for that, right?
no, we're not paid for that.
No. The fuck?
I think
breathing
I
in
would
the
really
mic.
key in on the word stable in that prompt because there's nothing more unstable than joblessness. And lately, there's been huge corporate layoffs for white-collar jobs. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm age 56, and I'm an adjunct professor of English.
Y'all remember when they was telling us to learn how to program? Y'all remember when they were telling us to learn how to code?
And I'm white-collar worker. So I feel like, I'm not sure, but I would assume with a blue-collar job, when you go 9 to 5, you go home, and then there's not extra work that you're thinking about, or you go on your email. But with a white-collar job, it's like constantly like, let me go back to that email, let me...
That's a misconception right there because a lot of blue-collar guys, when they get home, exactly like I was talking about a while ago, especially if you're in a higher position, but in a lot of jobs like mine, I'm maintenance, fiber maintenance. I cover like a 30-mile radius. I cover like, it's like 4 different towns. The rural areas of those towns, I cover all that maintenance. I am never, mentally, I'm never off the job. I'm always thinking about what's going on that job. Okay, I'm on call damn near 24/7. So I just, there are days where I feel like I can't, oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm going to try to edit that out. But if I don't edit that out, I apologize. Mentally, I'm always on the job. I feel like I can't go, like I can't just get up and go some days because I'm like, well, what if this happens and I need to be there? What if something happens and I need to be there? What if this and that and the other? Anyway, this is a big misconception, dude. A lot of blue-collar guys go home and they're constantly thinking about the job. That's just the way it is. And maybe it's like that blue collar, white collar, yellow collar, whatever other collars.
Call that client, let me grade that paper, whatever, and it's constant pressure
it's
on you.
The same in construction. So I disagree because like our superintendent, my first superintendent, I'll never forget him. Once he seen me out in the trades, it was like, he's only out here because of you. Because usually he's in the office on his computer. So he takes that home with him. And he's like going through all these emails, going through all these paperwork, looking at the blueprints.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the boss though, right?
Yeah, he's a superintendent, but he's still like, it's like he'll be in the field and he'll be in the office.
When does it, if you're the boss in a blue collar job, doesn't that become white collar because you're starting to work inside more?
Yes, I want to talk.
Maybe she does have a point there, a little bit of a point, but I think it's still, I don't know, because if you work your way up, you work your way up through blue collar to become white collar. It's a different type of white collar, in my opinion. It's not the same as just going straight into white collar, I don't think. And like, I answer emails. I have to do Zoom meetings. I have to do all that stuff with my job, right? It's a very, what do you call it? Remote job. I'm off by myself a lot of the time, so I'm having to constantly do that. Invoices, all that stuff. So, but I'm outside in the weather. I'm using my hands to work. I'm getting fucking dirty and shit. Not real dirty anymore, but still, does that? I mean, am I kind of white collar? Am I somewhat of a white collar?
To you about that.
Yeah.
I worked 17 years in a corporate environment. As a child, I couldn't wait to get into the corporate world. And I got into the corporate world, and I loved it. And I was with someone for 10 years who was an educator, and we were miserable. So I think it's kind of the wrong question. I think if you're a white collar and you're a supervisor, or a blue collar, you have the same kind of work requirements. And the more passionate and the more work you're going to do, the more critical thinking, it's all dependent. But I think that's the wrong question. I think the question is, are you satisfied inside with what you're doing?
I want to piggyback and just tell everybody, I just know too many anecdotal accounts of white-collar professionals that are very miserable and have the worst personal lives imaginable. And people, yes, that are blue-collar employees like you've known.
I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could pin this to one collar, honestly. I mean, surely, there's going to be the pros and cons to both sides. But I only know what I know from my experience, dude. And blue collar, just from the outside, looking at it from my experience, it just seems like blue collar is more unstable. Right? My dad was gone 6 months out of the year when I was little. For 6 months, he would be gone. And then he was on a rig. So it's like a month home, a month gone. Month home, month gone, right? Throughout the year. Maybe there are white collar jobs like that. I don't know. But I know families, their dads leave for months at a time in a row. 4 or 5 months. If they go work shutdowns and stuff, pipeline or whatever. 4 or 5 months in a row, they're gone, dude. That's totally unstable.
Connie, who have very rewarding lives, They figured out how to communicate well enough and how to raise a family well enough and instill values of course, among other things, a work ethic.
I disagree. I think it's 50-50 because you got guys and girls in the trades.
I don't give a damn if you disagree with me.
They're addicted to liquor. They're addicted to drugs.
Sure.
They don't spend time with their families. They're out cheating. Like sometimes you will.
She just brought up the lineman again. Why are linemen catching so many strays in this video?
Like, say we're in California, there will be a project in Oregon. So you're over there in Oregon for months at a time.
Right.
You're not at home with your family, so you're probably gonna.
Well,
exactly. That's exactly what I was just talking about. And then this professor guy was like, yeah, but I have to teach students, and I got to pay a lot of attention to the students. And then my kid, he's like, Dad, we were supposed to eat ice cream together out of the same cone, and instead you're teaching. Yeah, well, I had to teach for 2 hours. I had to prepare. I had to make preparations. All right, that's way harder than having to leave for fucking 6 months, Sonny.
Something you're not supposed to do.
People that are earning a lot hemorrhage a lot more, I think, is how I see it.
That is
yeah, and in other words, they're spending a lot more money.
And addiction is also prevalent in the white collar. Believe
what
you
a
me,
jealous
it is.
fucking
We're
prick.
in a couple law offices. Sorry to say
Probably so,
that.
though.
During the '80s, especially.
Yep.
You have a great point, Connie. Attorneys are often the profession with the highest substance abuse rates out there. As part of law school, any good law school gives you a substance abuse and suicide, class lesson.
Oh, no, that dude's got a...
in the ethical component. I know a lot of people who were unable to maintain their family lives and were divorced. In my worst time periods, When I was trying a 2-month-long federal criminal case, I remember standing in line waiting at the magnetometer to enter a courtroom, and I closed my eyes for just a moment because I'd only been getting like 4 to 2 hours of sleep for the past month every night.
Oh, I know what that's like,
busy,
brother.
And if I don't do my job right, my client goes to jail, and there goes their freedom. And I almost fainted and passed
look,
out.
hey, this is why I can't be an attorney, because am I still getting paid if the motherfucker goes to jail? If I still get paid, this motherfucker goes to jail. I don't give a shit. Where's my money? I mean, I tried. I told him he was innocent. I was like, Your Honor, I didn't see him kill anybody. Your Honor, I wasn't there. So, well, motherfucker's innocent. Yeah, they still put you in jail. I don't know. I want my money.
Out because I was so sleep deprived that I couldn't stand and balance myself properly, which is why I stood back there. I think both professions are subject to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends on how you define stability.
I just gotta say one more time, y'all. The dude in the farmer, I like his hair. That's some nice hair. That is some nice hair. Dude, I don't know if my hair is gonna ever do that. Like my hair seems to grow up. But I'm hoping it'll get so fucking heavy eventually that it'll just fall. Or maybe I gotta go get layers cut into it. Maybe I shave it off.
Right? Stability can mean one thing for some people, but for me, for example, I went to school for 8 years. Minimum is 7 to do what I do.
That's too goddamn much school. What the fuck?
And a lot of people would not be able to move away from home as far as I was. You know, I didn't get to see my family often, and everyone thought I was just, stable and gallivanting and living the best life. But I mean, I was struggling to afford like a cup of coffee so I could study, very basic things. So you have to give away 7 to 8 years of your life going from place to place to place. And you all get to build those relationships with your families. You all get to set roots. I knew I couldn't have children for at least 7, 8 years because I was going to be running around school and it was going to be a lot harder on me. So I just think both professions are subject to it.
Maybe.
Yeah, and the highest suicide rates I think I've read anyway are doctors and dentists.
Dentists, I heard dentists.
Yes.
I think part of it is, I think it's called sunken cost fallacy, where people get so far in, I hear it the most for school, so far in school, like medical school or dental school or law school, and then they get to the end or even like 3/4 of the way there, and then they realize, shoot, I don't like this.
Yeah, I can see how that can happen because that shit takes so fucking long to get through, dude. To me, it's not worth it. You go through this big class, this motherfucker said 8 years. When he got out of it, he's probably $2.5 million in debt from learning, and then fuck, I mean, you might want to shoot yourself after that. I don't know,
Like, this is not what I expected, but I already put all this time, all this money in. It's too late, and then they feel trapped in by it.
Yeah, pretty stupid, huh? I'll tell you what. Before we move on, I like that. Okay, he's got a point because most blue collar trades, you can go into a trade, you can learn welding. If you don't like that shit, you learned it in 6 months, you decent at it in 6 months, okay? Come on, don't give me that shit, welders. It's not that hard of a job. You can learn it in 6 months. It's not that hard, dude. So you learn that and you're like, fuck, I don't like this shit. I don't like this shit. Well, a couple months later, you can get into something else like diesel mechanic. Right? You went from welding to being a diesel mechanic. Now you're training to be a diesel mechanic. Well, you do that for 6 months. Well, I don't like this shit either. Well, I'm going to go be an electrician. So it's a little easier to boom, move around like that than it is, I guess, to go to medical school or whatever for 8 years of your life or however fucking long you got to do. Fuck that. You better make damn sure that's what you want to do.
Dissatisfied
Which is the
with my
point they were
quality
making.
of life.
Oh, the farmer's dissatisfied with the quality of his life? Don't be a farmer.
I have a good life, and I really am grateful for it, but I feel like as hard as I work, I shouldn't have to be as financially stressed as I am. I think that cost of living is one of the main,
It really is sad if our farmers really should be some of the most, in my opinion, our farmers should be some of the most wealthiest people in the country. I mean, come on.
Issues facing modern.
But I am still of the opinion that I'm putting tractor to dirt. All right?
life in America, and I think that it's a systemic problem that's going to take political reform to change. I mean,
we about to get political again?
Are insane. I've bought this
I do agree with that.
farm and I live on it, and I'm paying.
I do agree with that. Look, me and the wife are going to sell this place that I live in here and buy us or have us a house built. And we started looking at prices and all this and that. We're like, God, we're going to have to wait till the fucking economy does a little something different.
The amount every month as like many of my friends are, that bought houses earlier on, and I could only see it getting worse. The price of food, fuel, electricity. My PG&E bill is like $2,000 a month. It's everything's crazy. It's hard to do things the way I'm doing them. It's more expensive and it's more time intensive, and you get less production doing things the way I do it.
Put your tractor in the field and use equipment.
You get a better product, I think, and it's healthier. I think that
probably so. All right, he's probably doing it a better way, but goddamn, dude,
there can't be always a profit motive behind everything you do, and I think the question should not always be what is the cheapest way to do this. I think sometimes you have to ask yourself what's the best way to do this.
Let's move on. Are they going to debate anymore? I want to hear some more debating. I want to hear these motherfuckers talk about their shitty lives.
Day by day, that's what I've been doing, and
all right, we all got
felt
shitty
my life
lives.
Getting better because of it. And I think that if I really did compare how I was 20 years ago when Paul Krugman said people were more optimistic than they are now, honestly, I feel like I'm doing better than I was back then. Certainly, I've been working longer. I've been doing more things professionally that have helped me to stay in the field. And meanwhile, my daughter probably is going to have a more successful future than I've had. And I think that's what parents want.
Hell yeah.
I worry about the world the next generation will grow up in.
Oh, absolutely. We all do. We all do. All right, look, y'all. They're probably about to get political. I don't know. But this has been the most boring-ass video that I have ever watched in my life. I thought I was going to be reacting to some actual debating of, industry against industry, blue collar against white collar. Motherfucker, I make way more money than you, bitch, and I be home more. Man, fuck you, dog. I know math way better than you know math, bitch boy. Stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But, no, it's just the most boring panel, the most boring cast of people I have ever seen in a video. Not even real blue collar actors. Fake blue collar actors, right? No cigarettes, no beer, no Jim Beam, nothing, dude. Nobody said one single cuss word. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to end it here. Like, if you want to watch it, I'll put it in the description. Go watch it. Go fucking have at it, brother. Fucking get it on, dude. But look, I'm gonna put, this is disappointing to me. I ain't even lie, but I'm still gonna put it up. All right, you ain't gotta watch it. I don't know. Wasted so much fucking time. I'm about to shut this shit off and drink a shitload of fucking beer, dude. Y'all have a good night, day, evening, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are, man. Y'all, thank y'all.